Hi, and welcome to Math 0460, which is the booster class for the Math 1460, which is the Math for Business Analysis class. Now, I wanted to go over an introduction to the course, showing you where the basic content of the course is in your eLearn shell. Now, everything you will need will be actually in eLearn, even though we'll use the online math tool, Mymathlab, which some of you may have used before. But the way we have it set up in this class is actually different than any one that we've had for our other math courses. Now, the first thing you would do when you go into the course, like if you're in the home page, I will occasionally post some announcements, but often I do send out email, not just weekly, but multiple times in a week. So make sure that you're checking your email and it's your Sinclair email. Or you could have your Sinclair email forwarded to any other email account that you do regularly check. But just make sure you are regularly checking your email from the class. Now, the next thing you do is almost everything you'll need will be in the content area. Now, at first, you won't see these week 1 through the weekly folders for the class. You'll see it after when you go through the course overview folder, because that one you will be able to see. You'll read through the material, then you'll take this course overview survey, and once you get 100% on this 10-question quiz, which is just like making sure you did read the other stuff in the other materials of the course, then the other weekly folders will show up for you. So that's why you won't see these until, like I said, you do this course overview survey and get 100%. Now, in the course overview area, for one thing, let's see, there's the syllabus for the course. And now just going over a few basic things. Now, again, this is the booster class for the Math 1460 class. And what that means for this one is that we go over the material, the prerequisite material for the Math 1460 class in a just-in-time remediation format. So what we mean by that is that just before you cover material in the Math 1460 class, and by that it'll be maybe like 3 days before we cover it in the Math 1460 class, we give you a little refresher on either some prerequisite material you need to know, or sometimes we'll also give you a little preview of the Math 1460 material. I'll go over a little more about that when I talk about the schedule for the class. Now, the required textbook, there actually isn't one. This does say the booster workbook, but actually do not buy that. And if you did buy it, don't open it, and you could return it to the bookstore because you actually do not need it for this class. So that's one thing I want to mention, because all of the worksheets, we trimmed them down for the online class and we posted them as PDF files in the eLearn course. So you won't need to purchase the workbook from the bookstore. Now, for one thing, I guess I should have said this earlier. My name is Richard Uchida. I'm the instructor for the course. The best way to get a hold of me is by email, which is richard.uchida@sinclair.edu. There's also my office phone number, which you can call and maybe like leave a message, because I do check my messages. For my office location, I'm teaching fully online in the fall, so I won't actually be on campus, but I will be holding multiple office hours. Like my regularly scheduled ones are Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday from 9:30 to 10:30. But also I know that not everybody can make it at that time. So I also do it by appointment as well. You just gotta let me know like maybe a day or more in advance, and we could easily set up a Zoom virtual office hour at another time as well. There's the basic general outcomes, and then the links for the course requirements and the way the grades are. The way we do tests, the test will be online, and you will need a webcam for taking the test. So you will need that. And if you don't have one, you can actually get borrow one from the Sinclair main campus, and I'll include information on how you do that in an email. So what we do is the test will be online, but they will be using this online monitoring Proctor system called Respondus. That's where, again, they'll use the webcam while you're taking the test. So you'll be recorded as you take the test online. And let's see, well, there's some other basic information. But now going to the next page, which, let's see, that will be, well, let's see if that actually goes anywhere. Let's see. The course requirements. This is where the schedule for the classes. This is kind of one of the most important pieces in this course requirements area. So you'll see, okay, for the first week, we work always 1/2 week ahead of the Math 1460 class. Now, for the Math 1460 classes, our assignments are due on Wednesday and Sunday. Now, same thing for this class. That way, you don't get it confused. You always will have assignments due on Wednesdays and Sundays, except for exam weeks. But actually, I think even exam weeks you'll have things due on Wednesdays and Sundays. So that'll keep that in mind, so you know. Even though I always recommend for students to work ahead, but just remember Wednesdays and Sundays is when you have assignments due for not only the 1460 class, but also for the booster class as well. Now, just for an example of how it works for this class, we're always working, like I said, 1/2 a week ahead. But unfortunately, we couldn't work a 1/2 a week ahead of the very first assignment for Math 1460 because that would have been making you work before the semester started. So while the 6.1 assignment, we don't do any preparation for that, but that's hopefully all material you've seen before. It deals with solving systems of equations using the substitution or elimination by addition method. It's a pretty straightforward section. So even if you haven't seen that before, like I said, it's a very straightforward section. But now, for the Wednesday, for this class, that you do the prep for larger systems of linear equations. So this is preparing you for section 6.2, which is then the assignment that is due on Sunday for the 1460 class. So we're always, like I said, working a 1/2 week ahead. So the assignments for these preparations is there's a assignment on Mymathlab, which again I'll show you how to get to those, and you also will submit these worksheets for each one of those as well. And I'm going to talk about how you submit those and where you find those. And then for, let's see, the next assignment, which is due on Sunday, and that'll be the prep for section 6.3. So you'll do, again, an assignment on Mymathlab, and then you'll turn in a worksheet on Sunday. And again, that's to get you ready for the assignment, the next assignment for Math 1460, which is due the Wednesday of the second week. So again, like I said, we're always working 1/2 a week ahead. So that's the way the assignments are set. So you see, okay, like I said, Wednesday, Sunday, Wednesday, Sunday, Wednesday, Sunday. That's when the assignments are due. Okay, so this 1 week, I think this is the exam week, that there's only the assignment due on Sunday. Same thing for the 9th week. And then these weeks as well, just because these are longer sections. But again, it's Wednesdays and Sundays most often. Okay, now how you register for the class on Mymathlab. You actually don't follow the instructions that will come with your access kit that you get from the bookstore. Either you got the physical kit or they just gave you like an electronic file that comes with this access code that you will need. But on the instructions that they give you, they said that I'll give you a course ID number. And that's actually not the case for this anymore because it's going to be integrated within here. So what you'll do is that you'll click on this link here. And what you'll do is click on this Open My Lab and Mastering. And what it will do is, actually that could look a little different because this look, yeah, it's giving me as an instructor. So it may look a little different, but you'll click on that and then you'll go through the registration process. And again, when you're doing that registration process, it will not ask you for course ID because it already has it built in with this link. So, but it will ask you for that access code. And now if you haven't purchased your access code yet from the bookstore, you will be able to use the free 14-day temporary access from Mymathlab. So there's no excuse to not get your assignments done on time. So again, you have three options. One is you enter the access code if you bought it from the bookstore. Another option is you could actually purchase the access code directly from Mymathlab or Pearson, that's the company. When you're doing the registration process, you just need a credit card. I think they also take PayPal as well. I'm not sure which one's cheaper, to be honest. But if you are using financial aid for purchasing your textbooks and stuff, you do have to get it from the bookstore, as I recall. And also, if you don't have the funds available right away, once again, the third option is use the free 14-day temporary access. Or if you're totally not sure about the course, like I said, you could still use that. And then just before that 14 days expire, that you either purchase the access or you purchase it from the bookstore and then enter that access code. And then you'll go through the process. Like it'll ask you for, I think, like your username. I don't know if it asks for an email address because it may be attached with this as well. But yeah. Now, one thing to note is you only need one Mymathlab Access Kit. You only will need the one because we're going to use it for both this class and for Math 1460. But since it's using the same textbook, you will only need the one access code. So you don't need two different access codes because that would get ridiculously expensive. So again, that's how you'll register for the course on Mymathlab. And one of the reasons why is this will put it so all of the grades will go to the gradebook in eLearn. So we actually use the gradebook in eLearn and not in Mymathlab as well. So now grading information. How are grades determined for this class? Now, let's see. First, that the Mymathlab assignments, which are called these pre-lecture assignments, are 25%, really, they say points, but it's really 25% of the grade. The worksheets are worth 25% of the grade. Then the exams from the Math 1460 class are 50% of the grade. So that's how the grades are determined, and then it's your basic 90, 80, 70, 60 grading scale for the like A's, B's, C's, D's, and F's. Now, when it comes to the late policy, now for the Mymathlab assignments, there's a 20% penalty on Mymathlab assignments for any work done after the due date, but completed before the due date of the final exam. So you can hold off on doing this, but really those assignments will help you get ready for the Math 1460 assignments. So it doesn't really do much good to wait. But just in case, if you even if you just missed it a day or something like that, you can still do it. There's just that 20% penalty. So, and then, but for worksheets, there will be no late worksheets accepted. Okay, but the lowest two worksheet grades will be dropped at the end of the semester. So make sure about that. So there are no late ones accepted. And by that, I mean, I even look at the timestamps of when students turn them in. So if I see it after 11:59 p.m. on, let's say, that Wednesday, then it's late. Okay? So do not wait till the last second to submit those. So, because you never know. So yeah. Now, next in here, well, there's this welcome from the instructor. It just gives a little information about me. And then there's just some other basic informations about online courses. Now, how you do your work. Okay, so for week 1, like I said, there's usually 2 folders. Like there's stuff that's due on Wednesday, stuff that's due on Sunday. So for the first one, like you said, like you see, okay, first read the introduction and objectives, complete pre-lecture 6.2a. So what you do is you click on this link, and that'll take you to the Mymathlab assignment. So you don't have to go to Mymathlab separately. You just click on this link. It'll take you to that assignment. Okay. Then you, let's see. Might still be able to do it. Let's see if I click on it myself. Yeah. So you see, like I said, it takes you to the assignments. And it could be like a video or 2. And then sometimes there's also a problem for you to do. So this gives you a little introduction to what we're going to be doing. Sometimes it goes over some prerequisite knowledge. For some of the stuff, there isn't that much prerequisite knowledge. Like we rearrange the order because if you notice, we do chapter 6 before we do chapter 2 and 3 and 4. One of the reasons why is that the chapter 6 material requires actually the least amount of prerequisite knowledge. Like the main things you need to be able to do is add and subtract numbers and multiply numbers in ways. So there's not as much prerequisite knowledge. So like I said, you do your assignment, your Mymathlab assignment. So for these, you just do both of those, click OK, and then watch the videos, and again, watch them all the way through. And then, yeah, then you're done with that assignment. Like I said, sometimes there's a problem you got to do, but it usually goes along with the videos you watched. Okay, so oops, didn't go that one. So you do your Mymathlab assignments. Sometimes there's more than just one. Sometimes there's multiple ones. Like I think this one, yeah, there's like 2 of them. Let's see, this one, it has like 4 of them, but they're short. They're like, none of the videos are very long. I don't believe in long videos. And I make a lot of the videos for it, so because you might recognize my voice on some of them. So, so yeah. But then after you do the Mymathlab assignment, well, here there's this discussion forum where you just introduce yourself, and just try to do that by the first week. And then for the worksheets, these are the Dropbox assignments for each one of the worksheets. So you could click in here, and then you see you could, this is where the file is for those worksheets. So like you see, here it is. And they're usually either 1, maybe 2 pages long. So you could either print them off and then do your work on there, or if some of you have some programs where you could actually write on them, and then you could submit those as well. Or some students just write their work and answers on a separate piece of paper and turn that in. That's fine as long as it's neatly done and organized. Like, so I know which one's number 1, 2, 3, and so on, and what is the answer and stuff like that. That'll be fine as well. And then you'll submit it in the Dropboxes. So you'll submit, like you'll upload, and now, so what you'll do is, there's multiple ways to submit a file. Like if you have a program where you could actually write on the PDF file, or save it as a Word and then write it, then you could just turn in that file. But if you're doing it on paper, I really recommend like an app. It's called Genius Scan, GENIUSSCAN. It's available on Androids and on iPhones, and it's free. That what you could do is you take a picture of it in the app, and you could take, if you have more than one page, you could take a picture of one, then the other, and then the other, and then you save it as a single PDF file, and then you submit those. That'll also be how you could submit your work for when it comes to the exams for the Math 1460 class, because you will be submitting your work. It's not just doing answering the questions. You also will be required to submit your work. So yeah. So that's how you'll do that. So you could, like I said, upload your files there, and then submit your work. And that's what we do for this class. So that's how it is, and then like for the next set, same thing. The Mymathlab assignments, and then the worksheet. And again, next week for next ones, Mymathlab assignments, and then the worksheets. And again, these pre-lecture ones are, like they say, lectures, like going over some of the prerequisite knowledge you need for doing, really being able to complete the worksheets as well. So, and again, make sure you're keeping track of the due dates. So yeah, so, and then you could click on here for the grades. It'll look different for me because I am the instructor, but that's where you'll see your grades. Now, one thing, because we are piloting like this whole integration of Mymathlab with the e-learn system. Now, they've told us that the grades are not always instantaneously uploaded from the Mymathlab system into our gradebook. It may take 15 minutes or so. So just so you know, so if you don't see it right away, that's why, that there is a bit of a delay for the grade sync process. So yeah, so that's how you check. And also that when you want to check to see, like when you do your worksheets, um, that if I put any notes on there, I believe that you could click on this progress and look on the assignments, and then like it'll look like it'll be where you submit. You could click on that, and you could see my annotated notes on your your completed worksheets. So, well, I hope you all have a good semester. I'm going to make a similar video for the Math 1460 class, which will be very similar to this one. The way it's all set up, it's again Mymathlab assignments, a worksheet, and yeah, then, but I'll also talk about the exams for that class as well. But it'll be set up almost exactly the same way. It's a little more work because obviously the booster class is like a 1 credit hour class. The regular class is the 3-hour class. So obviously it's more work for the regular class. Now, if you have any questions, never be afraid to email me. Again, at the richard.uchida@sinclair.edu. And like I said, will be posting in the announcement areas like the Zoom link for my office hours. But also, if you cannot make it to my regular scheduled one, just send me an email and ask, hey, can you meet me at this time on this day instead? Now, one thing I'm not going to be doing it like late at night or anything like that. But I am pretty flexible when it comes to my office hours. My main goal is to make sure to help you guys be successful in the course. So I hope you have a good semester, and I'll be talking to you guys later.